in the office. I was shaking because I said, wow, Pires was playing on my side, Ruben Pires. So it was fast. I said, okay, you. Today I said to Lauren, I said, you, I will take your place. He said to me, are you sure? I said, look, me, I was scared of Yes Lemon. This guy
really scary.
This guy was very scared of him because he's a very serious guy, you know.
Was that the game that day when you had that bad performance?
Yes, already. Me personally, I knew that today is not my day. He made the
took you off at half, which is something he didn't do that a lot.
I look at him when I turn around. I saw the fans. Nobody, even my teammate, came to support me. It was only Adebayo.
Yes, people. Hi, and welcome along to AFTV. You have to check out that video. That's coming out this weekend. Our interview that we did with Emmanuel Abue over there in Sierra Leone. That video, our special A-list, is going to be out. He was such a great guy, honestly.
Yeah,
and so honest in everything he said. Joined tonight by Turkish. How you doing, Turkish?
Yeah. Could be better regarding Arsenal, but great otherwise.
Trust me. Hey, you recognise that I'm wearing Turkish?
Yeah, imagine that, Rob. Imagine people. I gave that me, Cecil, and James gave that to Robbie 3.5 years ago.
Is that how long it was?
Yeah, 2020, end of 2021, I think it was.
Yeah.
2021. Yeah, for your birthday. That's even longer than 3.5. And at the time he was like, it didn't fit. Now look at him.
Yeah.
It's
lovely now,
too
right?
big.
Honestly, remember I said to you, right? I said Turkish. I absolutely love it because people, what you can't see on the back, it's got Camp on it as well. It's authentic, like Turkey. You know, Turkish collects all these shirts. He's got a you can see him behind him. He's got a massive collection, and he only deals with like the authentic shirts, right? And he gave me this one. I was so grateful, right? And then I went home and I tried it on, and I couldn't even get it on. It was so tight, and I was like, "No, I'm going to keep it because I'm going to lose some weight and grow into it." And it still wouldn't fit me. And then I remember I said to Turkish one day, I go, yo, Turkish, you know that top you gave me? I'm going to give it back to you.
You said that, yeah.
I'm going to give it back to you because I can see it's a top that's worth a lot because it's an authentic one. And now it fits, man. I lost some weight and it fits. So trust me, I love it. I absolutely love it, man. So thank you very much for that, man. I knew you'd do something good one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on, man. Don't worry about that. 3 years off. I'm waiting for you to do something good next.
Well, anyway, listen, joined by Turkish tonight. Of course, we had the game last night, and we're going to talk about that today. Another cup gone. Can Arsenal go again after Dubai? They're going over to Dubai. I was chatting to one of my friends over there who's saying to me that they're actually going to be, some of them are going to be in Dubai from tomorrow. That's how early they're going over there because they've got a open training session tomorrow and another one on Monday. So they're going over to Dubai. And then when they come back, Leicester, and it all goes again in the league, Champions League, only 2 trophies to go for now. So want to get your guys' opinion. Can we go again? Also want to find out about what you felt about last night's game and, you know, out with a whimper in a way, really. 4-0 on aggregate, you know, it weren't great. The second leg coming up tonight, actually. We're going to be on here till 8 o'clock. The second leg at 8 o'clock, Liverpool versus Spurs. So want to get your opinions on it. Remember, just to remind you guys, every night we are now here at 7 p.m. And the whole purpose of this is for us to have a chat about Arsenal. So every night you can join us Monday right through to Sunday, unless there's a game on. Obviously, it changes a bit then. We're still live. We were live for the game last night. And we're here to talk. So want to hear from as many as is possible. But first of all, Turkish, your opinions on the game last night. 2-0 defeat up there against Newcastle.
Dead, man. I didn't have much hope about going through, but you don't go out like that, man. No fight, no heart. We got bullied, schooled. You know, it wasn't a good showing at all. Off the back of a massive win, one of our best wins in the Emirates era, in the 5-1 against Man City, and 2 off the back of a deadline day that's very reminiscent of most under the Emirates era. So whichever way you looked at it, whether you were jubilant off the back of City, ignoring the fact we did nothing on deadline day, or whether you was reading off deadline day, forgetting the fact that we just smoked City, this game was kind of the one where, you know, we spoke about an early goal. We spoke about being in the game 60, 70, 80 minutes in. Most of us essentially knew after the first leg it was over. But looking at Newcastle's form going into it, we thought, all right, they've lost a couple at St. James Park. You know, one early goal, we saw how Matty was when we done the box and the preview you done on his channel. He was nervy. He admitted it. He said, this is a very different feeling. He said, Robbie was right. A month is a long time in football. We went to the Emirates, banging form. I was confident. You're coming to St. James Park. We've lost 2 of the last 3 there. If you get the first goal, it's nervy. Arsenal did nothing to... And the thing is, I say we did nothing. We had the chance to make it 1-0. We had the chance to make it 1-0, but it comes down to what it's come down to for a long time now. Lack of clinicalness in the attacking quartet or the options we've got. Odegaard should be burying that. Yeah. He should be burying that. And it's potentially a different game. I don't think it would have been, because when you look overall at the 90 minutes, Newcastle bullied us, schooled us. But who knows? The crowd quietens down a little bit, especially off the back of that offside goal. You know, it would have put more nerves into the team, more nerves into the stadium fan, because we know St. James Park is it's a special stadium. You know, it goes under the radar because Mike actually took the piss over there. But Newcastle are a special club. They've had, you know, special players over the years. I know not a trophy in a long time, but a lot of the reason was down to bad ownership. Now they've built a solid unit, and you know, it was a test for us, a test that I predicted 2-2 draw, and that was me being optimistic, but we went out with a whimper. We have another attacking player injured, and again, it's the 2 teenagers that really come out with any sort of credit from that game. So it doesn't make for good reading. I mean, Dubai sounds nice, but they should be in Shropshire or something rather than Dubai, because I don't understand how, you know, I'm out here in Enfield. These men are going to Dubai off the back of what they're doing. Crazy.
Enfield and Dubai, I think I choose Dubai.
quite different. Quite different.
You know what, Turkish, right? I mean, I was at the game, going up with it, like you said, a little bit of optimism, because listen, me and you, even though I'm saying I'm really optimistic, we know 2-0 down from the first leg, it's always going to be tough. I remember reading something in the morning about how many teams have ever come back from a 2-0 deficit in the first leg. And I was like, oh my God, let me stop reading this, because it's virtually none. We threw that game away in the first leg. We all know that, right? But I'm thinking, like you said, a bit of hope going up there. The first glimmer I got that this was going to be a different game for Newcastle than their game against Fulham that they lost, and the game against Bournemouth that they lost, right? Is that walking up to the game, me, Cecil, and Ty, and this Newcastle fan came up, really nice guys, chatting to us. And he said, he goes, Robbie, he goes, Newcastle, we haven't won nothing in nearly 60 years. He said, if we can win tonight and go to Wembley and win that, he goes, I'm 55 years old. He said, if we won at Wembley, the Carabao Cup, and I died the next day, I would have known that I would, at least, it would have been a great moment, and I've seen Newcastle win a cup. I was like, the Carabao Cup? What, you die and you'd be happy with that? That's what the guy said. So first of all, that's alarm bells ringing, because I'm like, hey, they're up for this. This is big for them. Get to the ground. The atmosphere in there was electric. Also from the Arsenal fans, they were great, but you know they put us so high up. They remove you from the atmosphere. You've been there. But the place was bopping, man. They had flags out. They had some guy on the pitch with a saxophone playing that. I don't know what tune it is, but you know that they played that. I was like, hey, these men are up for it. And then the game started and they were on it. And I'm looking at our team and I'm like, we look a bit flat. It was all right. We was passing the ball, but we look a bit flat. And I'm like, first goal, all important. They get the first goal, is disallowed. We get a lifeline. And like you said, a huge chance for Martin Odegaard. What has happened to his shooting boots? Last season, he was scoring goals for 5. What did he get last year? 15?
The year before was 15, but last year I think
he
got like 11 in the league. But
which is Still decent for a central midfielder, isn't it? 11.
Mm-hmm.
And he's missing chance after. So he missed one in the first leg as well, didn't he? And then he hits the post, and then they literally went down the other end and scored. And you know, the ironic thing is at that moment, I was like, game's gone. Because the ironic thing about that is that he hit the post. He just came back. They hit the post. It went off the post and went in. I was like, yeah, done. You know what I mean? I'm like, and then after that, listen, they deserved it. They played us off the park. They had more energy than us. Players out there looked tired. Timber looked tired. Partey looked tired. There were mistakes all over the place. Declan Rice, who was brilliant in that game against Man City, making mistake after mistake. Raya. I mean, it was just a really poor showing. And like you said, Turkish, we went out with a whimper. And like you said, to add on top of that, Martinelli going off with what looks like a hamstring injury. They said they're assessing it. No words on that yet. It doesn't look like a serious one, but even a minor hamstring injury, we're talking what? 3 weeks out?
Yeah, 2-3, yeah.
It couldn't have gone worse. I mean, we kind of knew that we're probably going to go out of this, but we've gone out with a whimper, and then straight away, everybody's turns to the window. Why didn't we bring in a striker? Why didn't we bring in a forward player? Honestly, like, it's almost like 2 steps forward with Man City, 2 steps back with last night and the injury on top of it.
Yeah, it's same old shit. Different smell. Same smell, actually. Same shit, same smell. Like, I ain't surprised no more. Sometimes I've got the energy for it, especially outside the stadium after I've just seen us get knocked out by United in the FA Cup. It's a different emotion, different energy. But more time you've got to disengage with it all because it's bullshit, and it's bullshit right in front of our faces. But we argue amongst ourselves and we make excuses amongst ourselves. There is no excuses for this one just gone. There was no excuses for the one in the summer. But here we are, February the 6th or whatever it is. And we're talking about a Dubai break, and can we bounce back? Bounce back to what? You know, Champions League will. When you look at the potential opponents in the last 16, AC, Juventus, Feyenoord, or PSV, you know, you're in with a shout for sure. You know, at the start of the season, you would have said, oh, we'll be favourites against those lot. But right now, I say we're in with a shout. You know, we should go through. Let me say should. But looking at the way we went out to Newcastle over 2 legs. What makes people think we're going to maneuver our way through a Champions League? Because part of it is a mentality issue as well. Like I said, they bullied us, schooled us technically and physically, but they bullied us. You could see they was getting under man's skin. They was putting in an extra word or two, or to be honest,
they did Turkish. They did to us what we did to City,
and worse, I think. Yeah,
yeah. They did to us what we did to City. We had way more energy than City. We stuck it on City. And we were clinical. They did exactly the same as what we did. That's why I said in my video afterwards, it was our turn to get humbled because they did that to us. And you can't argue with them going through. And I think the only thing from this is we have to learn lessons from this now. Like you said, Champions League coming up. All of those Champions League games from now on are over 2 legs. They're not league games no more. They're 2-legged knockout games. We must learn that, first of all, you cannot lose at home. You can't. You lose at home in these 2-legged games, your chances of going through are very, very slim. So they've got to learn that lesson. I think the next... when we go into the knockout stages, we'll have the second leg at home, won't we?
I think so.
Yeah, for that first game, we've got the second leg at home, but we got home's got to be a fortress. And secondly, we've got to learn how to manage 2-legged games.
We have to win the home games, I think. Even you look at last season, we drew to Bayern. Drew to Bayern at home, didn't we, last season?
Yeah. You have to win that home game.
What was it with Porto as well? Was it
Porto? We won it on penalties, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what was the home leg? Was it 1-0?
Yeah, I think we won the home game.
Yeah, but you got to make it count by more than that. Well, maybe not Bayern, especially when you consider it was our first year back in the Champions League. Cool. I get that, but you're right. I mean, our knockout. It's mad because he won the FA Cup so early on, Mikel. But since then, our record in the cups in general, whether it's Europa League or whether it's the FA Cup and the League Cup in general, it's just been dreadful. Dreadful.
Yep.
The FA Cup 3rd and 4th round for the last 5 years or 4 years, whatever it is, or 5 or 6. I forgot what it was. That's unacceptable for a team that has such rich heritage in it. People often speak about European heritage and how it's laughable for us to expect anything in that competition. And I get that to some extent. Even though heritage is history, it's about writing, you know, your history now. But FA Cup is ours, and we've been a joke in that for 4 or 5 years now. It's unacceptable. Let's forget
round,
Europe
fourth
for a
round,
second.
3rd round. Yeah, you're right.
Nottingham Forest or Europa League is Villarreal or Olympiacos. It was 1 year.
Yeah, Sporting.
It doesn't read well. This is without playing the big boys in these competitions, and it's even Man United going out to them in the FA Cup. 10 men for what? 30 of the 90, and then the extra 10 men for an hour.
Listen, we got to get better in these knockout competitions. We've got to learn the lesson from it. And the problem you have, right, is that when you've conceded 2 goals in the first leg, it's easy for Newcastle, really. When you really look at their tactics last night, they put 5 behind, 5 at the back. They don't normally play that. They had 5 at the back. They had 4 in front of them sitting really deep. And then they just said to Isak and Gordon, you guys, when we win the ball, we're just going to get the ball up to you quick because we know that Arsenal are going to have to attack. So we're going to get you a lot of times in one-on-one situations or sometimes even 3-on-2 situations because Arsenal are having to push so high up to try and get a goal because they're behind. So they were able to exploit that really, really well. And then they're clinical. So they just hit, you notice, they just hit long balls up to Isak. He's brilliant at holding the ball up. This guy's a great all-round player, by the way. Just what we need. Brilliant at holding the ball up. And then when he's got you one-on-one, I mean, he had Saliba on toast yesterday, you know, and Gordon as well is a very, very good player. And they just had a field day. And that is all because of the first leg. Because if we hadn't have done that in the first leg, we could have been the ones with, you know, in a real defensive formation, what we saw against, say, for instance, City, where you can be really disciplined and catch them on the counter-attack. But it was the other way around, and they were able to do that at home. So we didn't give our chance. We didn't give ourselves any chance, really, of winning that game. And we've got to learn lessons from this going forward.
Yeah, we didn't even learn in game. I mean, the offside goal should have been a...
It should have been a wake-up,
because that's what Isak does best. Off the shoulder, you know, seeking that one-on-one. And, you know, we had that warning sign and then bang. Literally, more or less a similar type. I know it was a 1-2. He got in front of Saliba. Saliba had a mare. Worst game
worst I've seen him. Worst
game in an Arsenal shirt. I mean, aerially he was just losing out left, right, and centre. Even second half, there was a moment where I think it could have cost us, but it didn't. So what a game to have a mare in as well. But I'm not going to dwell on it too much because we was already out. And he doesn't have many mare. That's his one mare I've seen him have for Arsenal. I know
a bit like Raya. He's not had a mare, and he had a mare as well, I thought. I'm going to do a few super chats. I want to come back to you after these super chats and ask you about Isak and how good he is. D. Prendy says, team left this morning and already in Dubai with Saka and White. I've seen that them two. You said at the start that you think they should be in a Enfield or Shropshire or something. You don't think they should have went Dubai?
Dubai is like a gift, isn't it? Like that's you man are going on holiday. You man are messing about. 2 cups gone in January. Premier League is as is before from December to now. It's as is literally.
They weren't that the same last year, and then they went there. They kind of refreshed and came back a bit more rejuvenated because they looked out on their feet last night, didn't they?
It was earlier. Yeah. A lot of them did. It was earlier on in the season though, and we had Liverpool coming up at the Emirates, I think it was, and to chance to make it 2 points, and that was a big turning point. We don't have that. It's 6 points. They have a game in hand, and actually, by the time we get, is their game in hand next Wednesday?
Next week.
So by the time we get back from Dubai, it might be 9 points. 9. So I'll hold my horses on a Dubai right now, if I'm honest with you. But let them enjoy it because I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, so sometimes the fan base they didn't go Dubai this year. They're going Dubai. Let's see.
I got no problem with them going and listen. They got a week off this weekend. Go refresh, come back and try. I think that they
got a week off because they're out.
They've got a week off because they're out, and it does. I get it kind of comes across like some sort of reward or something. And back in the day, they'd have been running up the terraces and going on cross-country runs and that. But football has changed, and we did see it benefit them last year because remember, they had a horrible December last year. Remember, they lost to Fulham, they lost to West Ham, they got knocked out of the FA Cup by Liverpool, and then they went on, and then they came back after that break, and they were kind of rejuvenated. Let's hope it can have a similar effect this season. Panvajit says, it's funny how Robbie never fails to mention how Turkish thought Patson Daka was the future. But forgets that on deadline day, he was saying that a washed-up Sterling is better than Lookman. I've not forgotten that. I know. Don't listen. That guy over there with a beard has reminded me of that every single day, right? And he's right. I mean, Sterling has been dreadful. Although he looked like one of the livelier players.
The man said he looked what? Don't do
He looked like more one of the lively players when he came on last night because we were awful. But listen, he has been terrible. Kaiser Friends, he always comes with these breaking news. Marta Rosenberg wins the classic mass start at the cross-country skiing Junior World Championships in Shapiro. Second race, second win, a future star in the making. Guys, say something. As I said, can she play as a striker? That's what I want to know, you know what I mean? Because if she can, maybe we should sign her up. Anjit says 0 incoming window. Even the owners have lost belief in Arteta, or Arteta now will give up on these owners. Either way, it's unhealthy for Arsenal. What's your view on this, Turkish? Who's to blame? Not for summer, this window, because Arteta's been saying like for most of January, we're short, and we didn't get anybody. Is it the owners, or is it Arteta, or is it both? What do you think?
It's always much more the owners than anyone else, first and foremost. But Arteta's probably played a part. He's definitely played a part. He was making excuses for the first 2 weeks, saying internal solutions. And when Charles Watts asked him about the need for a striker, he mentioned that we scored the most goals in 2024. So he was challenging that narrative. And then all of a sudden, Man United problems and whatnot, he comes out a very different man and starts talking about the need for a forward, in a different way, because he mentioned we was light leading up to January. So Arteta's got a part to play in this, because even during that 2 week time where a lot of people are saying he's been pleading with the board about it, he's talking about people are working behind the scenes every day. He mentions that people are working even when it's not the transfer window. But I'm sorry, how can you keep on mentioning people are working behind the scenes non-stop and you trust them, and we got no one? That's the question I want a journalist to ask. You told us there's people working every day, 24/7, whether the window's open or not. You told us we were light. You told us you needed someone. Can you tell us what the fuck? Because that
I'd like to know who those people are working behind the scenes, because that's the other thing. Like, no Edu, he went, and we haven't replaced. That's the other thing that I think a lot of people have missed. That, like in their criticism, who's doing these deals, and the person doing the deal, are they qualified enough or good enough to be doing those deals? Because you've got a sporting director who your job is to be an expert in bringing in signings. He's gone. Who are the people trying to bring him in? And do they have that knowledge of the market? Do they have that pull and that sway to get someone in on loan or to persuade? You know what I mean? That is the other thing for me with this.
Never good enough, though. Arsenal's since David Dean. You see that guy? If only the younger generation knew how that guy helped Wenger and the club in general, even before Wenger. But since him, we haven't had the right people. After him, what was it, Gazidis? I think for a while. Oh my God! And you know, since then we had Raul came in for a little bit, and then Edu's taken over, and there was that, you know, that little bit of Arsenal heritage with Edu. I say little bit, big Arsenal heritage with Edu, because
Edu did all right though, didn't he? Listen, you can criticise some of his signings, but he managed to get the Declan Rice deal over the line. Thomas Partey. I mean, there's been some good signings under there, like bigger signings that we're not. But I'm just saying with this, it's not even a matter of, you know, whether you agree with that signing or not. This, whoever's doing it now, who are they? And are they qualified enough or have enough influence? Like you, when you mention a guy like David Dean, that was a guy of influence. He knew everybody, didn't he?
Yeah.
He'd be able to get his little black book open and probably be able to reel off the name of every single owner of every club and every sporting director of every club and across Europe, because he was that ingrained in the whole of football and that well known.
Mm-hmm.
But who are these people now? Do they have those links? Do they have those? Because that's part of it, isn't it? That I can get on the phone to, let's just say you own the club. I could get on the phone and say, yo, Turkish, bro, I need a loan, man. I know you've got such and such. Help me out here. You know, them relationships.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
When you look into a lot of their backgrounds, I think Tim Lewis is a name that's popping up and whatnot, and Richard Garlick, and their background's more legal than anything.
Yeah.
And when your background's more legal, you're going to have a more, I don't know how to put it. Your risk management is a lot more
money, yeah.
It's a lot more tedious. They're not looking at potentially, like, let's look at, like, if Arteta says Isak, they're not looking at Isak. They're looking at the cost, the wages, the all of that stuff, finances, and then they're working out from there. And they're probably not even taking into account, well, I'm going to say probably not. They're definitely not, because it's evident with the last two windows, taking into account what, all right, this big risk comes in with this big fee and this big wage, whoever it is, but that big risk could lead to this, which is a big upturn in our income. You know, our commercial revenue, for example, is in the pits compared to the other big six sides. It's terrible. I think our commercial revenue is less than Tottenham's. It doesn't make sense. So it just seems like they don't want to take the risk to go further and do what it takes to raise the profile, which in turn raises the finances. They'd rather see what we've got and work with that because they're legal. They're not football men.
But then also, Turkish, right? If this is, you make a great point there, because I'm thinking to myself, you kind of need a guy like David Dean was a businessman and that run multiple businesses, right? But also he's a football guy.
Yeah.
So he's not, like you said, these are finance guys. He's not just looking at it from finance. He's like, I'm a business guy, but I love Arsenal and I'm a football guy. And I want to win the league. And to win the league and to win trophies, what I got in front of me, that's not going to be good enough to do it. So we have to get someone in, even if it's going to cost us a bit more. We have to. Like you said, if you're a legal guy, you're just thinking about the books.
Yeah.
You're balancing the books, isn't it? You're like, all right, Arteta's bugging me saying he needs a striker. Yeah, I get that. But Watkins, well, I'm looking at his age and I'm only paying 40 million tops. And otherwise, we would have to run. Sorry, Mikhail, we'll have to go with nobody. That's not the person you need right now. You need a guy that's a football guy like a David Dean, who, or maybe even possibly our Edu, who was a football guy, who then goes to the board and makes a case and said, listen, I get it. Ollie Watkins doesn't make financial sense right now, but we've got a league to win. And we've got a... We're still in the Champions League, and if we get Ollie Watkins in, he could be the difference. And it's your job to persuade the owners that this will be, you know what I mean, this is in their interest. But these guys that are running it at the moment, were those the guys who've got the gravitas to go to the Cronkies and say, you get what I'm saying?
Of course. Of course, and ultimately, Josh Kroenke is the man that can come to all of them and say, yo, what the hell are you, man, doing? Let's win something. Ultimately, it comes out, and that's why the ownership will always have the highest percentage. People need to understand that. I'm not always putting 100% on them, because Arteta's messed up the last 2 8s he's bought. He's messed up the striker role, and he's wasted funds in various, and people can use that and say, why would the Kroenke trust him with more? It's all relative. You see the money we spent, not net spent. In comparison to other clubs, it's in and around the same. I think we're 4th in the big 6. So it's all relative. But the owner can always turn around and say, yo, what are you doing, Mikel? How are you out of 2 cups? 6 points behind Liverpool. It could be 9 in like 7 days. The owner could turn around and go to Tim Lewis. Yo, Arteta wanted Isak. or Arteta wanted Sesko, or Arteta wanted Gyökeres, and you didn't get it. Why? Why? Because of what? 2.5 mil? Are you mad? We need to win something. Josh could do all of the. Ultimately, it comes down to them and their ambition, because it's not the first, second, or third year under Arteta that we are challenging and whatnot. So if they really had an ambition in getting over the line, they'll be as furious as I am about this season, because you look at it with Man City falling off, you're thinking the opportunity was there. I know Liverpool have still had a great season. I'm not putting anything aside, and the best we could have probably hoped for is to be neck and neck or even closer. But it's unacceptable where we are. In the cups, we're out. In the Champions League, it's all hope, and in the league, it's like whisker away from done. Yeah. Even though it is done, because the way we left ourselves squad-wise, come on, people. Ain't happening.
Let me do some super chats. We've also got Primsy, who's going to be joining us as well. I ain't heard from him for a while. Great to get his opinion on this. Sud says, big up Robbie and Turkish. Another all-round poor performance. They look tired. I agree with that. But that's part of the poor squad depth. And he's true. Turkish, if Big Six is not doing a US summer tour, can I suggest Australia? And your guide is sorted. Oh, so there you go. Links in Australia.
Yeah, why not? Why not this year? Plans are kind of set, but maybe soon. That flight, bro. Have you ever been to Australia?
Yeah, I've been to Australia. That's bro. I'll tell you how long.
I don't know if I can fly there.
It took me about a week to get over the jet lag, and I'm not normally someone who suffers from jet lag, but when I went there, man, that's a long flight. Ricky Proctor says, "Forget fighting and losing. I've lost count of the number of times this team hasn't turned up in key knockout games. It's a mentality issue coming from Mikel Arteta." Guna Cannon 29. I'm tired of having a Jedi mind tricks myself. Sia says Arsenal forgot how Bournemouth bullied Newcastle. I think, listen, there's a different game, man, when you're not going into that 2-0 down already, where you got to go all out attack. Colton Conroy says profits over production, least ambition of the top six. You only get so many title shots, and the board is fine throwing one away. But we got new kits. Another good point. Matthew says, get Salah in the summer, then Slot possibly. El Brigante says, remember Sterling being baptized was supposed to mean something. Someone check up on that church, he says. Red Dust says, lost the first leg without Bruno, lost the second leg without Joe Linton. Good point. The difference in energy shown by both captains was an eye-opener. Rice should be captain from now on. We need to be ruthless on and off the pitch.
I agree with that, man. I think Rice has shown in the last couple of games. I know he hasn't played. He didn't play the best last night, but he still showed, when they were trying to get onto Lewis Skelly, the Havertz thing, he was getting involved. Odegaard's missing too many times. Missing.
Yeah. Silly says Sihili. I hope I pronounced that right. Sihili Jali says, which other clubs in Europe would keep a manager that's had 4 consecutive trophyless seasons? Name one. Surely he would have to leave. TJ LFC says, if Liverpool drops 10 points from here, will Arsenal win the title? Minimum points ever dropped by any team at this stage is 4 by Man City. Is that true?
Minimum, he said. So I guess...
I'm sure teams have dropped more than that from this. I don't know. I'd have to check that. Angie says, if both owners and Arteta blame each other and still both stay, it's even more dangerous. Just going back to that stat that guy said, I wonder, listen, you could just see, right, the owners or those guys, those same lot you said, those finance guys, if that stat is true, looking at that and thinking, well, we ain't going to win it anyway. Why go and spend? You know what I mean, Turkish? Yeah. Dennis says, what's the real reason Edu left? Enhas in charge now.
Who's in charge now?
Panvajit failed to score against Bayern away. Liverpool home, and in 5 league games, it cost us in the league and in both cups last season. The club reacts by getting rid of forward depth and only sign in Sterling.
Do you know what they did in the summer was so crazy? You know, when you just read it out like that, it just like we needed attackers and we let go of attackers.
We needed what we needed, what we all said, striker. And then you saw one last night, how good he was. Amson says everything comes down to the ownership and proper ownership. We'll get most of the things right and we'll show ambition and do things correctly in order to win trophies. That's why he's saying Kroenke's out. Comment says, hi lads, Liverpool fan. What did your club see in Sterling? Great turnaround from the last 5 years, but inconsistency in performances and transfers costly. And Robbie, the chocolate Malteser, says, I'm so starved for trophies. I've glued another handle onto my Sports Direct mug. I've shrugged off the Carabao Cup 10 years ago. Now I am livid. Super chat here coming from this gentleman here. Thank you. It's Snap Pro Media. And Chris Fraser says it's not just about winning trophies now. We're down to the bare bones without more attackers coming in, and we'll burn out our attackers. It's pure neglect. How is it okay for our fans? Let's get Premzi in. And as we bring in Premzi, I want to find out from you, Turkish.
Come on.
Isak, how good is he?
Well, I said in the summer, bang down 150. And everyone looked at me like, what's this guy on? Because number one, we spent 100 on a CM. Yeah. From when you do that, you're essentially, I want to tell people, if you can spend 100 on the CM, you're essentially saying we can spend 150 on a forward, because a forward is the one. Yeah. It might be unfair in this life and whatever, but the strikers or the attackers that, finish things off, they're the ones that get their headlines. That's just how it works. I said, bang down 150. And I wouldn't have regretted that. I would have, if I could go back and you asked me, no Sterling, no Neto, no Calafiori, no Marino, but we bring in Isak, we still would have been light, but I would have said, yep. Because I would have said, keep Smith Rowe as well then. You might as well keep Reece Nelson, if I'm honest with you. And then it looks a lot better with one signing.
Yeah,
so
Isak
he's perfect for us. But in all honesty, he seems happy at Newcastle. And the more performances he pulls out like this, the more clubs that have bullied us in the transfer windows before will become more interested in it. We didn't take our opportunity. And the bottom line is, when other clubs come up against us for top talent, we tend to lose out more often than not.
What do you make of him, Premzi? Isak, he's quality, isn't he?
You know what? We just not serious as a club, because we had the opportunity to sign this guy a good couple seasons ago, and we didn't go and do it. Simple as that. Now we're letting other clubs take players that we're interested in, that we've scouted, and they're flourishing. Even with Bruno Guimaraes, it's the same situation. So really and truly, Robbie, we could speak about Isak, we could speak about Watkins and whoever it might be, but the bottom line of it is this club have let us down this window. They've let us down this season, and they've let us down this window. So I'm not really even too interested in talking about Isak, because this guy, he's just absolutely turned the switch on us and embarrassed us, because in a semi-final, we've not even scored one goal. We didn't even score one goal in a semi-final. Do you know how shocking that is? And it is actually embarrassing, because
as the favourites.
Don't
forget, we were favourites. Imagine.
It's mad, but you go and you smack up Man City the way that you do, you expect to carry that on. You don't expect to go there and then let it be boys against men, because that's what happened. We got absolutely terrorised on that pitch. We got terrorised, got bullied up. We couldn't even break the lines. They had a centre-back in Fabian Schär all over Declan Rice. Can you not see that, Arteta? Can you not switch something up? Can you not make a change in midfield to stop that happening? Because it's starting to become frustrating now. And obviously, I know you've asked me about Isak, and I'm just starting to go on about Arteta and the situation. There's just a lot of frustration built up, Robbie, because I've been fair with this guy. As you, man, know, man was one of the first people, if not the first, to scream Arteta out outside City Stadium. You get me? And I've been fair with him as we've gone along. You know what I mean? I've seen the improvements that he has made in the club. And at the end of the day, I'm an Arsenal fan. All I want to see is Arsenal reach the heights of when I was a kid. You get me? That's what I want to see. And at the moment, it's not happening. And what I see with a lot of these fans online is that it's becoming like Arteta's the untouchable man. You get me? Like, it's a bit like how Wenger was when Wenger couldn't get sacked, or it's becoming a bit of a mad thing. I'm not even going to lie, it's becoming a bit of a mad thing. For me, it's last chance saloon for Arteta this season. You get me? Like, he needs to win the Premier League. He needs to win the Champions League, one or the other, because it's going to be 5-6 seasons, 800 million spent. It is not good enough. And I'm not saying let's just go and sack him, because I'm not deluded and just bring in any Tom, Dick and Harry. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying as a club, we need to be proactive enough, yeah, to be looking at it and thinking, right, okay, the guy's been here for this long. He's got us to a certain standard. There now could potentially be somebody that could come in and take us over the line. And if the club are not thinking like that, the club are not serious, and we're never going to win anything serious for years, bro.
Yeah. Listen, he was saying all January. I put this to Turkish earlier. He was saying all January, we're light. We need someone. It's not Arteta who buys the players. Who's at fault here for not bringing in a striker? He said I've not heard him be as open as that before. I don't know if you guys, but I don't know if you back me up on this, Turkish, but I've never heard him.
He's got to take onus. He's got to take onus, though, Robbie. Arteta. You can't just have one or two targets. There's thousands of players out here.
No. But Premsy, how it works, right? Is it's not him who's going scouting, buying the players. He may be put a suggestion forward. It maybe was even his suggestion to bring in Ollie Watkins, right? But then it's down to the team that's buying the players, because he's got enough on his plate to be training players for Man City game and all the various games he's got. It's down to that team to go and get that deal done. Now, have they let him down, or do you think he's culpable in January? I'm not on about the summer, January as well.
No, they're both to blame. They're both to blame, because at the end of the day, yeah, Arteta wanted to take that step up as a manager and have a more of a prominent role. You get me, a more of a say. Now, I don't care what anybody says. We're a big Arsenal Football Club. We shouldn't just be looking at one or two targets and thinking, oh, right, they're the guys that we're going to have for the system, and focus all our energy on them. If we can't get hold of them, there should be 3-4 players in the pipeline, in the backup, to say, right, okay, it might not be number one target and the finished article, but look, we've got this guy, we wanted him third, whatever, he's a youngster, he might come into the fray, but we've got an option, we've got a body there. We wanted to see this season, January, we wanted to see our club at least make a move, make the fans feel a little bit up for it, to think, you know what, let's go and take Liverpool all the way to the end. But they haven't done that. They've disheartened us, because you look, Martinelli's out injured. We've already had our best player, Saka, out injured. Jesus is out injured. Soon, Robbie, is going to be you and Turkish up front. That's what it's going to be. I'm telling you, it's a mad thing. It's an absolute mad thing. Like, it is and it's a joke, because we can be sitting here laughing and all that, because you know what I'm like. You know exactly what I'm like. I'm very passionate about my football club. And this season, we should have won the league. This season, we should have won the league. No questions. I don't care about Liverpool, because, yeah, they might be a good team. Slot's come in and done well, but it's still a new manager. You get me? We should have had the one or two players that we needed to bring in the summer to take this team to the next level. And that is on the club, and that is on Arteta. Edu, obviously, he wasn't even thinking about Arsenal too tough. He had other things in his mind. So that is down to the club, Richard Garlick, etc., to say, look, Edu, look, they should have got rid of him earlier. You get me? That's the truth. Should have brought somebody into play to make us move forward. At the moment, we're on a standstill. We're just finishing second. It's not good enough, bro.
Okay. Turkish. Mm-hmm. Can we go again after the Dubai trip? What was it? The games after Dubai, Leicester away, followed by West Ham at home. Let me get the full list of games.
We should beat Leicester, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. But if you mean, can we go again and win the league? I don't think so, if I'm honest with you. Damage has been done, and more damage will be done. Champions League.
Sorry, let me just run. Sorry to cut you, Turkish. So just running through some of those games. So when they come back from Dubai, they got Leicester away, West Ham at home. Then this is a tricky one. Wednesday the 26th, away at Forest. That'll be a tough game. Mm-hmm. Then 9th of March, Manchester United at home. Away. Man United away. Chelsea at home. Fulham at home. Everton away. And then we get into April. There's winnable games there, isn't it? I mean, it's a couple of difficult ones in there, but winnable games as well.
Yeah, there is winnable games, and we will win. We're going to win more games than we lose. That's for sure for the rest of the season. But it's not about that. We've got to be flawless, and we're not going to do that. We've got to win every game. There's 15 games left. Liverpool are 2/3 games away from us. With an Anfield trip, make it 4 minimum. Come on, 4-game swing in 15. We've got to be perfect. That includes winning at Anfield. and winning every other game before that. It looks nice when we return from Dubai, and maybe it will be nice. Maybe we'll score goals, and Waka Waka will be all out again, and the run will look sweet. But ultimately, it looks like it's going to end in the same way.
Okay, let me run through. There's a load of super chats coming through. Let me just run through those.
But you know what, Rob?
Sorry.
On the sporting director thing, yeah, didn't City confirm that Viana guy's coming in after Tiki leaves?
Yeah.
Look at that. Hugo Viana was an ex-baller, and he's the director at Sporting, who over the years have shown a bit of nous in the. They're bringing in someone football. I remember you asked before Premji came on, you was asking me who's dealing with it, and we said Richard Garlick, a lawyer or whatever the fuck he is, Tim Lewis, Lord Chips Keswick or whatever that guy is. And look at the names I'm saying. They're bringing Hugo Viana in, who, listen, I don't know much about. I know he was a baller. I know he played at a very good level as well in some very good teams. But they're bringing in a Sporting that, whereas we're just twiddling our fingers. What the fuck? Who's Jason Ato?
Yeah, I think to me, we've all sort of skirted that, or we've all sort of overlooked that. But I was thinking about it yesterday. I'm like, who's buying? Are these proper people buying these guys? I mean, like, do they know what they're doing?
I'm telling you now, it's all in Arteta's hands. Believe what I'm telling you. I'm not joking. It's down to this guy. He's saying to these, this is who I want, and that's it. If you've heard it himself, he's come out and said time and time again. Robbie, he has said come out and said time and time again, if I don't get the player that I want, I'm not getting him.
But Premji, a lot of those things will be said. Listen, we know how this thing works, right? You're the manager. Manager don't own the club. It's not his money. He's the person that's buying the players. Who oversees that is like your sporting director, who then works closely with the manager on one side to identify targets, but more importantly, with the owners and things of the club, because they're the ones who are going to sanction the sale and are going to sign it off. It's not Arteta. Arteta can say, yeah, I want Ollie Watkins. But if those owners are not willing to pay the amount of money.
Robbie, I'm not having it. Trust me.
Listen.
Trust me, man.
No,
every player that's in that team that Arteta's brought in.
Premji, you've got to understand how these. Premji, you've got to understand how these things work.
I understand.
The sporting director is him, and the owners are going to sign it off. Yeah, of course, Arteta's going to have a load of input into it. Yes, he's probably got a big influence on it. But he ain't the one who decides. It'd be like it's my money. I trust Turkish, and Turkish is managing it. But if Turkish might come to me and say, "Boy," and I might say, "I ain't got the money to do it." So who's the people? Who are these people that are sanctioning it? That are looking at these targets and that? Because are they experts? I never heard of this guy Jason A2 and people like that before, and we haven't got a sporting director.
Yeah,
then it all correlates with us getting nobody.
We need football men in place, yeah. But from what I can see from the outside looking in, because it's all good us saying all this, but every business runs very differently. I get it. And really, unless you're in that boardroom, you don't know what's going on in it. Really, you don't know what power they've given to Arteta, because I've grown up seeing Arteta and Wenger. I've grown up with not exactly. I don't, but I'm saying from the outside looking in, I can only give you my opinion, and I can only give you what I'm seeing as a fan. Yeah, like I said, I've got a different opinion to you, a different opinion to Turkish at times, probably more or less similar, but a bit different. And what I can see is every player that's come in so far, barring a few of the Brazilians like Marquinhos, etc., as being players Arteta has wanted. Yeah, maybe this Sterling is the only one I could probably say that's probably been handed to him that it looks like it. You get me? But other than that, the board, the owners, they've backed this guy with 750, 800 mil. You get me? They've kept him in the job when the fans were really up against him. They've backed this guy. You get me? He's got to take onus. He's got to be looking at going to the board, telling the board, look, Saka, my best player's out. You get me? Just before Christmas, the window's coming up soon. You don't have to just start looking at January. You can.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But that's what I'm saying, Primsy, right? Because as you said, none of us are in there to know for sure. But the one thing we can be sure of is that very uncharacteristically of him, he kept coming out in press conference after press conference and saying, we're light. I remember there was one press conference where he said, we have to sign someone. We have to. So that's why I'm like, and listen, at the end of the day, if you don't sign someone, he ain't gonna come out. He's employed by these people. He ain't gonna come out at the end of it and slate them all, is he? But I'm saying that I've never seen him like that before. He's saying we have to sign someone. We're light. He was making a big point of it, press conference after press conference. Sorry. Yes, you know what? Before I come back to you, there's a load of super chats piling up. Let me do some of these. Chinio says, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I really don't believe that Odegaard is the superstar of the team for this team. That 14-goal season was an outlier, I'm convinced. Red Dust says, Arteta knows he must win a major trophy before to go back home and manage some team in Spain. He will not leave when his own career and reputation is on the line. Should be the other way round. Earn some stripes in Spain, then upgrade to the Premier League. Bo says, this point, I'm just, what's that,
Waiting for Madrid.
Say waiting, man. Waiting for Madrid to announce Saliba. What's wrong with just saying waiting? Right? Today's last says, we need Isak and Sesko at the least. Good luck with both of those. Rai2896 said, Robbie and Turkish, hope you're both blessed. Of Arsenal, I'm fuming with the board overall. But let's not act like over 5 years we spent 750 million. Arteta hasn't spent the money correctly. Brito Otis says, if we don't win a trophy and Arteta stays, he needs to get rid of win. Or if he gets another dog, name it trophy. Well, we've been winning games. We've been winning games, and that don't matter anyway. Clock End Curtis says, no trophies until we bring in clinical forwards. I think we're all in agreement with that. And he also says, Garlic, Ato, Kroenke let Arteta down. Rai 2896 again says, Fabio Vieira, Lokonga, Marquinhos, Havertz, Sterling, like the list goes on. Like part of me to think, do the Kroenkes even trust Arteta with any more money? We need 4 to 5 players, let alone a centre forward. Well said, Premsy. Mikel Arteta has to be held accountable. I think he definitely has to be, but is it all him? Abiola says, which managers haven't fumbled? He is still elite. Look where we are compared to most clubs. Frustration is valid, but be balanced. Going at a manager is reactive and divides the club. Going at the board unites us. They are the problem, he says. Your reaction to that?
That's a mad thing. That's one sec. Sorry. That's a mad thing, yeah, because this is what I'm saying about the Arsenal fans. Arteta is not untouchable. And this is what I'm trying to say. As a fan, yeah, I believe a lot of fans are very fair. You get me? It's 5 years, yeah. When Wenger didn't win a trophy for 9 years, man, we're on him. The greatest.
No, he's got 4 years left, isn't he?
No. But what has this guy done, bro? What has this guy? You're on the payroll, dog. Are you on the payroll, dog?
Listen. What I'm trying to do here, right, is I'm trying to make this thing balanced, right? And I'm saying to you, Premsy, you're saying a lot of stuff without evidence. And I'm saying to you that we've heard
my eyes, man. This guy's let us down for years playing centre back after fucking centre back.
I hear that. But I'm saying, and I hear you on that. But in this January transfer window, he kept saying we need to bring in a forward player. We need a striker. We're light.
All right, okay. So why is it then? We've only kind of seen us put a bid in for Watkins the last day or so. Is there no other targets out there that we could have seen?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are these guys who were... I mean, let me get Turkish in on this. Do you think that the guys who were looking at these targets were qualified enough or good enough to get
them? Simple answer. No. But we're not here because of January. We're here because of the summer, really.
That's true.
And after the summer, Arteta said it took one phone call with Sterling to know he's the man to come here. You know, after the summer, Arteta signed a contract 2-3 weeks into the season. You know, signing for a considerable amount, making him one of the highest earners. And there was no talk of being light at that stage. The talk of light came up heading into January. you know, after Saka gets injured and Sterling's already out. And again, he was January was 4 and a bit weeks, right? For half of January, he was making excuses, saying internal solutions and saying what else did he say? Internal solutions and whatever. He was saying, oh, the Charles Watts thing I said earlier, where he challenged the notion that we need a striker. Then the last 2 weeks, he really ramped it up, and I agree with you. He did put some pressure on, but by that time, we was at the FA Cup. By that time, we was already 6 to 9 points behind Liverpool. By that time, we already knew we was light, like Mikel said in December. So Mikel has got a lot of blame in this situation as well. But ultimately, I always bring it to the owners, because the owners can go to Mikel and be like, yo, you signed Havertz and you made him the highest paid player at this club. And no one knows what he does good. So I get that as well. I understand that. But at the same time, be proactive. Like, we're being far too reactive right now. Like, literally to the point where I believe one more season and it's peak for us in keeping all of the guys we like. So there's going to be another transition come. How can a man go through another? We've gone through 3 transitions to win no majors. You might as well not call it a transition, because it's the same shit. Like, we're transitioning.
But you know what
it
is as well, though? You want, like you said, Turkish, you want to see the club being proactive. Like, Sterling was a big mistake. Yeah, Arteta's been ruthless in the past with players. So why not cut his loan short, send him back, and maybe go and have a look at getting Rashford on loan for the rest of the season? Something different. No, but it's true.
One to another.
No, but it's not, though, because I'd rather have Rashford there than Sterling there. Even if he doesn't work, because he'll probably do better than what Sterling's doing anyway. But at least we've got another body in. At least the fans can think, right, okay, the club are trying to do something. We know it's not a permanent fixture. We know this isn't the guy we're going to go and sign in the summer. But at least we can see us trying to do something. Rashford will have a point to prove. He could come to Arsenal, sit on the bench.
All what you're saying there is what I said in the summer about Sterling.
Nah, bro. I'd rather have Rashford, than an invisible player coming off the bench. Best believe that. I'm telling you now. I'd rather have Rashford than that. I'm telling you.
That's easy to say now. That's easy to say now, but Rashford's been terrible. Not, man. Let me just remind people.
This is how mad it is. I'd rather have him than no one.
let me just remind people. By the way, people, we've got Valentine's Day's coming up. So the one thing is, Arsenal fans, if you got your girlfriend, at least you can be with them next week. Was it Friday? Next week, Friday. We got a special show coming out where both Ty and Julian are going to be giving Valentine's advice, right? So you got to look out for that, right? They're going to be giving Valentine's advice. Rumors are going out there that there may even be a show where they're joined by someone else giving Valentine's advice as well.
You must be mad. Imagine me, Ty, and Julian on a show. Like, that don't sound right. That don't sound right.
Oh, listen, Ryan's at the controls, man. And when Ryan's at the controls, you already know what's coming. Dennis says,
Ryan, put your picture up, man. I told people you look like Kai Havertz, bro. Put your picture up next to Kai.
He looks like Kai.
He looks like Kai. Doesn't trust me. I'm gonna put it together. I got Photoshop. Don't worry.
Waka Ryan. Dennis says 8 to 10 Champions League games a year. Did we sell Emma Smith Rowe and co? Beanie says, Robbie acts like Arteta FC, not Arsenal FC. Shut up, mate. Listen, I want what's best for the club. But also, when I come on these things, I want to add a bit of balance to the argument. So,
Robbie, can I just ask you quickly, though? Sorry. Do you not think, though, like what we're seeing in the aspect of Arteta, like, I'm not trying to throw all the blame on Arteta. I'm not trying to stick it all on him, but he's got to take accountability. 5 years is a long time. And obviously...
No. I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Of course, he's got to take accountability. I'm just merely, and I agree with Turkish. The summer when they didn't get a striker was criminal. But I heard the man all
3 summers ago
saying he wants a forward player. And I'll tell you the other thing that really baffled me as well is we're very light up front. Why didn't we bring back Fabio Vieira then? That's another one that's really baffled me. Why have we left him there on loan? You know what I mean? Again, there's some things that have really baffled me about this January transfer window. Let me do these last couple of super chats because we're running out of time. Alpha Car says, this is Mark from Tipoa. Big up, Mark. Listen, thank you very much. The van yesterday was absolutely brilliant. He sorted out the van for us to go up to Newcastle. He says, I'm spending my last $5 on this super chat. Turkish, check your Big Six DM, please. So make sure you do that, Turkish.
Yeah.
And Abiola says, Premzi, reactive. Arteta, not untouchable, but done a great job with what he's had. Unity style of play, youth development, Champions League relevancy. Most managers in Europe haven't been able to do all that. Silverware is the only thing missing. And just to mention again, AFTV saying relationship dilemma, dealing with your partner who's moving like a free agent. We've got you covered this Valentine's Day. Email us your dilemma at valentines@aftv.co.uk via the video or messages. And Julian and Ty will help you out. Oh, my days. Listen, we've reached the end of the stream today. It's been so good. Time has just absolutely flown by. I guess you guys going to watch the game now? The Tottenham Liverpool?
Yeah, it's going to be on.
What do you reckon?
You know what's going to happen? No,
Liverpool are going to go through in it. But...
Yeah, we're going to go and watch that now. But listen, I want to thank you, Premzi. Thank you very much for coming on. We'd love to have you back on again. Thank you very much.
Oh, man, I'll be coming back to the games and that more often as well. It's just daddy life, yo. It's hard work, I'm telling you now.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you. Listen, we all know about that. We all know about that.
You know what, though? Like, it's just one of them, innit? But look, I'm grateful to be on and chop it up with you guys, and that has been a while.
No, we all know about when you got kids, different thing. I mean, Turkish use that as an excuse for being late all the time. You know, I mean, it's
At least I don't use the motorway, Rob. At least I don't use the motorway as an excuse. But yeah, that's your one. I don't want to.
But anyway, Turkish, thank you very much as usual, man. Absolutely brilliant. By the way, Prems, before you go, tell people where they can find you.
Hit us up on Instagram, Premzi_AFC, and obviously Premzi TV. I haven't been putting out much content because I've had other projects in the background that I've been working on.
I saw that film.
It's a series, to be fair, Netflix series that is going to be doing, etc. So,
wow. What's it called?
I'm not allowed to. It's called Bougie. It's a bit like it's not like a Top Boy because I don't want to put it in that category, but it's kind of. It's obviously gang culture, etc. Up north Manchester. But it's gonna be good. I can't say too much in it because I've signed an NDA, etc. So, but
okay.
yeah, man, so I've been working on that. Well, on all streaming platforms, in it, on all of them, I can't really say too much. But yeah.
You're ready to mash up the NDA, you know, right?
Well, that bit's all right. That bit's all right. But the rest of them, I can't say. You get me? That bit's all right. That bit's all right.
Big up, though. Big up.
Yeah, we'll be looking out for it, man. Thank you very much. Thank you, Turkish. And thank you to you guys for watching. Remember, we're here every night at 7 p.m. We're going to be here tomorrow night. We've got a very special live Invincible podcast at 7 p.m. Lee Judge is going to be in the building. So make sure you join us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7. We are here with an absolute Arsenal legend, Manuel Abue.
When I saw Arsene Wenger in the office, I was shaking because I said, "Wow, Pires was playing on my side, Ruben Pires, so it was fast." I said, "Okay, you." Today, I said to Lauren, I said, "You, I will take your place." He said to me, "Are you sure?" I said, "Look, me, I was scared of Yes Lemon." This guy
really scary.
Yeah. This guy was very scared of him because he's a very serious guy, you know.
Was that the game that day when you had that bad performance?
Yes, already. Me personally, I knew that today is not my day. He made the
took it off an arm, which is something he didn't do that a lot.
I look at him when I turn around. I saw the fans. Nobody, even my teammate, came to support me. It was only Adebayo.